something that I did put in with this grant, as well as some of the things that I remembered in the past. That was the look about putting roll-up doors on both the north and the south end. Another thing that helps with those grants is to become ADA compliant. That's the Americans with Disability Act. And to look about getting concrete to the bathrooms, as well as around by the lower shed and possibly even into the lower shed. So that's some of the, I know that's some of the things that's been talked about in the past. If you have anything you'd like to add to that. And I also checked with Greg, since he is the 4-H advisor and takes care of that a whole lot. And so that was some of the things that he could remember as well.
Remember, is the parking lot still gravel that way? So is there handicap parking?
We always
I'm just
mark
thinking that
off
we
the
might have to, I mean, because you can't, it's hard to push a wheelchair in gravel
Correct. And
around that way.
And that was part of, with the way that it's being, it's to get it to where it comes off from the bathroom area.
Right.
Coming around to the south side, north side of the barn, and then to look about, hopefully if there's enough in, then to be able to concrete that whole lower shed, as well as take care of where the gutters run off on the end, to bring that back around to the south side, to where it comes back up, and hopefully a landing spot. It just depends on how far $75,000 worth of concrete and other repairs go, and what the county has to put in to get that thing.
Okay.
But if there's anything else on that, just please let me know, because we're going to be submitting that grant. I think that one's due the mid-September. No, I'm sorry, 23rd of August.
Bring water into that south from the other field. A lot of people don't have to walk through.
Yeah.
Because I know that, and I think we let this out, I know that there's Blaze Electric has done a whole lot and doing a whole lot more right now, all free of charge with the show barn. That's helping out with some of the air handling and some of the other things that we had in that grant previous, but there was not enough money to cover. So that's some of the things that we won't have to look to do. But this is just to try to help and to help us be more ADA compliant.
Blaze Electric really made a big contribution to that, and I also want to thank Roy G for sending his crew to get the ditches and all that dug in for the electric vehicle, and that was a big savings. So anyway, all right, but we'll get on to that the next time. I'm sorry, didn't mean to take up so much time with that, but anyway, we'll move forward with that when we have it on the
More
agenda.
about the fund balance.
Can we table that till next month?
Okay.
I didn't finish the policy and I waited on everybody tonight, so.
All right. Next on is the EMS. We handed these out, we met, the EMS committee met. This is a RFP to be placed for the rebid on our ambulances. We went through and added some things. I also was able to get the total calls, and it's on page 4. From January 23rd until August 1st, 2023, they ran 4,333 calls. 230 of those are what we call against medical advice, meaning they didn't transport those. Some of the companies will want to know that before they bid and kind of see where they're at there. There is several pages. I did send it to Eric. There was a couple of verbiages he wanted changed, and we changed those. We also have in here on page 7 that we want them to give us a bid for at least 4 ambulances, 2 above, 2 below. They have to be advanced level, and there's supposed to be a paramedic level on each truck, meaning not just advanced EMTs and EMTs, but there will be a paramedic on each truck. Because with the way Tennessee's brought that in, they can, an ALS ambulance now is considered advanced if it's got an advanced EMT on it, which means that takes a lot of care away. Not dishing anybody for being an advanced or an EMT, but they can't do what a paramedic can do. With the geographical area, we felt like paramedics, we needed at least 1 on each truck to take care of the areas. The two stations are listed there because we have the one in Denton that can be rented and then the one up here in the medical center. We also placed in there, again, so that if there's a employee that's working, employees of the county, including our fire department, that they would be transferred, taken to the hospital free, meaning they would charge their insurance and then they wouldn't charge the patient for any more. So if you're a county employee, it would be free. And then also, due to the fact of all the problems we had with the breach of contracts, we imposed a $2,500 fee on the service if they're 10 days in breach of contract. After 20 days of breach of contract, it goes to $5,000. After the 30th day, it goes to $7,500, and we can invoke the 120-day get out, we're getting somebody new.
Right.
What else am I missing? There's something else we did too. Let's see. Yes, to a 2-year contract, and this came from one of the guys at CPAS, and the reason being is he felt like we might be in the same boat we're in this time, where they couldn't afford to do another year at what it was. So we do the 2-year contract for 2 years, and then another 1 year for the next 2 years with a 3% increase in what we pay them. And that's gonna take care of expensive fuel products going up, because we all know nothing's probably ever gonna go back down again.
Well,
It
let me
may,
ask you this on 3%, now if we get a high bid, 3% of a higher bid, are you talking about 3% of their base only?
yes, but not until the 3rd year.
Right, but it depends on what the base comes in at, on 3%, it'll be quite a bit different,
So,
5%.
you know, we can change that. That's why I gave it to you to look at. Do you want to go with a smaller change? Because initially, when I read this RFP, they were going to put 3% in every year.
Yeah, and that,
So that's, you know, like you said, could be depending on where the bids are. And we know they're going to be, we're not getting another ambulance service for $750,000. It's not going to happen. I mean, we know they couldn't make it at that. So,
Oh, we're gonna let them choose if they wanna do the 24.
yeah, I know some had questioned doing 2448s or 2472s. There again, when you add the 2472, you're adding another 12 employees. And right now, they can't fuel their 3 trucks that they have. So I don't know that even if we got a different provider, that they're gonna be able to.
that should be the provider's option
It
anyway,
is, yeah.
use on their schedules.
Yeah.
As long as they have them. Man.
Now, there was one other thing that we wanted, and I didn't know if we needed to put it in the RFP or if that would go into the contract portion of it that we forgot about, is if it's a bigger company, that we require them to keep the 4 trucks in county and they cannot send it to another county to help that county out unless it's a mass casualty with mutual aid. Not just for us to go take somebody back home from the nursing home because they're short of trucks, or to take a transfer.
It needs to be emergency call.
Right.
You know, it needs to be an actual 1046,
Right,
whatever.
right, for mutual aid only. And mutual aid does not consist of running
Right.
those type calls.
Oh, and we did the first responder.
Yes, and we did do the first responder in there because, as of right now, we have 1 up on this east side. We just tested and he is full-fledged. We have 9 more to go, that they would keep up with their training, and they would also replace any of their disposable stuff. If they use on the scene, they would give it back to them because they can charge for it. And they can't. That way they're not, they buy their first round of stuff, or we get their first round of stuff, and then the ambulance service will take care of replacing whatever they use. I think that's it.
Are we voting on this to send out tonight, or are we taking this home to look at?
Well, that's what I want to know. Do you all want to look over it better and then us have like a special called meeting and have it so that we can get it to them? Because we're done at the end of September. Their contract runs out at the end of September, and that way we'll have enough time to get it out. We've had several companies call about being interested in it, so it looks like we're gonna get some bids, not just from one or two, it looks like there might be 4 or 5 different. And of course, they may pull out at the end like a couple did last time, but at least we're not looking at nobody bidding on it.
The evaluations,
Yes.
who exactly is the evaluations?
The evaluations, I think we had decided was gonna be set up with the EMS committee and let them look at that. And be sure that we do it this time. It was in the contract last time and nobody did it. Nobody did it. So, and I think, you know, I wanted to ask for a in-county director, but we can't do that. You know, yeah, we can't discriminate, but we would like to do that so we have somebody to actually talk to when we have a problem than having to go out of state or in-state or wherever we have to go. But we can't do that, so hopefully we can get a better working relationship going if we stay with those evaluations and keep us up to date and them up to date. So, if we want to, John Boyd, how long is it gonna take? What's our last deadline to have these put in the paper and get them out and get them back?
Oh, what's the contract expiration date?
Is September, the last day of September?
You better get done now if you want any time for them to actually put in a, I mean, we're running late now.
No, no, no.
That's, you're talking about somebody getting this RFP out in the paper, getting something, the background of that data and getting it back in by September.
Yeah, because you'll want to give them, I mean, they'll have to
Yeah.
have at least 2 to 3 weeks to prepare it.
Every bit of 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. This is horrible.
So we're dealing with RFPs, that's what we do. So to make it for the September 19th commission meeting, RFPs would be due at noon on Monday, September the 9th. That way it meets everything that's been set aside by the commission in the past.
So we have to have them to the office at 12 o'clock on the 9th.
Correct.
And we have to give them 10 days?
No, there's no specified time limit for how long an RFP can stay out.
What day's the meeting in September?
I was like, if you want to be competitive,
More 10 days.
yeah.
That's just 11 days that the contract's up.
2 to 3.
Yeah.
If a new company gets the bid, I don't think they can get everything swapped over in 11 days.
That's it. I mean, you need to put this out now, and it needs to be, you know, they have to have time to do this bid. Unless somebody's got one just held back, they're not gonna do it in 10 days.
I mean, because you're looking at even, if we do this tonight, it's probably going to be next week, let's just say, for it, everything
gets in
gets
the-
out. And then that's just giving them about 2 weeks before they have to turn around and get it back in.
Official,
It comes out on Wednesday next week, right?
no,
Yeah.
it's officially marked on the 22nd. Even though it comes out on the 21st, it comes out a day before.
So it's official on Thursday. The date on the papers will be on
Correct.
Thursday.
It would be on
Two
Thursday.
days.
So if you all wanted to take that, and get it looked at, to get it into the paper, general circulation, I would have to have it by the 20th. I'd have to have this ready to go by the 20th. Then it would be sent to the paper, be put in general circulation on the 22nd, and it would be out until September the 9th.
We better have a special call meeting in September before the 19th or whenever to approve this bid. I'm telling you, if another company gets it besides the one we got right now,
You know
Well,
what's
that
gonna
means we're
happen.
gonna have to meet next Monday
yeah,
night.
because 11 days, I don't think
It's
it's a
either
different
that or
company.
now.
Well, the only difference right now is, so if you push a special call meeting out
It's going to
farther
put it out.
to get longer time for your RFP to be out, you're giving even less time, like Greg said.
Yeah.
So if you draw it back, then you're cutting down your time on your RFPs. But what you got to understand, excuse me, what you got to understand as well is when that RFP goes out, it don't just go into the Polk County News. It goes out and it hits the World Wide Web, and it goes everywhere immediately. So even though we just run it one time in the paper general circulation, it does not stop it from getting out to those that are and that's going to be looking.
That's just to satisfy the TCA.
Right.
And it's like Christie says, we've had 6, 7 awarded
Before the 19th.
where they're, anticipating and want. And some of them have said that they could have this in just a few days with the right information that's available. That's what they said. They run ambulance services, not me, but I'm just domestic.
One thing I would like to request,
On the 19th,
not to exceed. I'm on page 135.
So we want to change that not to exceed 3%.
Well, this just let the bids out.
In other words, it don't say 3% automatic.
Personally,
Maybe the percent. I'll get one,
Okay, all right, well, I'll
but
change
this
that.
week it's automatically 3%. I don't wanna buy it.
Okay, is everybody good with that? Did you hear what John Hoyt said? On the 3%, not to exceed the 3% on that, and it would be us and the agency that gets it determining how much that would be.
That way we can kind of look and see what.
Yeah, because if we automatically, yeah, yeah.
well, I'm good with letting it go tonight, but I still think we need to have a special call meeting and let the 10th award it. Because the 19th, if a new company gets it, that's just 11 days for them to hire people, get them in here, get all their
Typically,
ambulances.
they keep who's there, and then
But
they
their
weed them out
ambulances
as
gotta
they
be
go.
inspected by the
There's a
state.
transition period.
11 days ain't long enough, I don't think, from the 19th to the 30th. I think the bid needs to be awarded around the 10th, and that'd give them 20 days. Because you remember last time the trouble we had getting them inspected by the state? I'm telling you, 11 days, we're taking a chance. And if that other company leaves on the 30th, we might not have a functioning ambulance service for 2 or 3 days, and that'd be
Well,
terrible.
that can't happen, that would, yeah.
I say have a special call meeting on the 10th or 11th to award these bids.
Well, we can't do the 11th, because that's when it's seen. We could do the 10th.
If everybody else is good with that,
Yeah.
All right, what time we gonna do, 6 or 7?
either one.
So, would you also make into your motion that the RFPs to be, the deadline to be turned in, be here? Because if you don't put that into the motion, this is what we ran into with sanitation.
Then it has to go into your office and be opened and brought back and put in the thing.
Correct.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
So, just be sure that
Here.
Now, remember, we'll be in Benton section.
Or, I'm sorry, at the commission meeting. Will that work? Because we did make that change.
So are we,
Did you hear that?
are we voting on this tonight then?
Is everybody good with voting on it tonight then? Are you
Got
sure?
one more
We ain't
question.
really got no choice.
Did,
Just go ahead, John Boy.
you've got, I just need it by Tuesday. So, yeah, so if you all want to take that home and look at it and then give your information back, who's the chairman on that committee?
Me.
So just give your information back to Christian, as long as we get a final document by 12 o'clock on Tuesday, no later than that.
Because legally, we don't have to vote to let RFP go out.
Correct. We can turn an RFP out any
Yeah.
point in time.
Okay.
And then if
But then
we're-
that way it comes through you all, and everybody's got time to look at it, that way you're not voting on something that you may not have.
Because y'all may see something we didn't.
so did Eric was okay with
Yes,
this
he had me
contract?
change where we had put a fine for the 7,500, the 2,500. He said it doesn't need to say fine, it needs to be like a fee or just a dollar amount
Okay,
because of something legal.
Okay.
So I changed that, and then,
Supposed to go from 2,500 to 5,000 and then 7,500.
right,
And that's not what you said.
is that not what that says?
And two, keep everybody, you know how busy we all are, keep everybody
Yes.
get on the same night. Maybe you can call that guy from the chamber, Christie, and change his meeting to an hour before our special call meeting. Because we're gonna meet with him on the 6th of September,
No, we're meeting with him on,
the 12th.
it's the week before our meeting.
we are meeting with him on the 12th at 6 o'clock.
Maybe if you call him and see if he can come to meet with us for the special call meeting.
Okay.
We get that all over with one night,
I'll call
because
him.
it's hard to get everybody
Okay.
at meeting.
I've got two more for you. The 8 minutes, 59 seconds from Denton or Ducktown. Is that gonna be any kind of issue? Is it coming from a call, or transport
Well, yeah,
when
but
they get the call?
I don't, the only way we're gonna be able to track that is the fact of them on the radio, is they're gonna be able to let's say they're at Tenova and they're responding from Tenova.
Right.
So you're gonna know it's not like that.
So that's why I'm asking, what is
I don't-
in the contract, is that, I mean, in RFP,
Well, I mean, they've got a stipulation right now that they're supposed to be out of the station in a minute during the day, and they never are.
Right.
They've got a stipulation that says they're supposed to be out in 3 minutes at night. Nobody thinks that. I mean, so,
when that's up to you.
and it says 90% of the time, they're not gonna make it
I got you.
to a call anywhere, and honestly, in this county other than Life Care in 8 minutes, basically. So it's kind of, that's kind of a general timeframe.
Okay.
You got that? All right, what's next?
The escape clause is still in here, 120 days. I know
Yes.
you mentioned before, that was dealing with if they violated
Yes, it's still in there.
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, they
But we can
can,
invoke it anytime.
we can invoke it at any time and they can too. Just like it was in the other one,
At any time.
at any time. There's something else. But everybody look over it. And then let me know by Tuesday and I'll fix what we got here. I changed that to the 5. I was excited when I was doing this, I guess I couldn't read. You know, I didn't even give you the odd numbers up front, so come on. Don't ask too much. And then if you see something, look at it, let us know, and then we'll.
Correct.
Okay.
It's on, I'm definitely taking the 12 on Tuesday.
He needs it by 12 on Tuesday.
12 on Tuesday. So, everybody be Greg, get it done before 12 on Tuesday, okay, sir? Okay.
Right.
You're the only one I'm worried about. All right, Mush Davis, talk about the fire department.
I don't have any information, but I talked to Robbie about this, and I talked to some of these volunteer firefighters. There's a lot of things they need for the building, need some improvement, they need a lot of work. And I just don't like for permission and see if it's, how y'all feel about if we could probably help these guys. These guys, they work hard, they don't get no money for it. And I know Gravity Creek place needs something, Birmingham place needs stuff. Robbie told me several places below the mountain in West Polk needs stuff. And, you know, these guys work hard. And like insurance, you pay insurance all your life, but when you need it, you need it. And when they come and help you, or save somebody's life, then it's worth it. I just wanted to mention that and see what y'all think about it.
Is this on, you talking about on equipment and stuff?
All over the
This is
buildings,
on
buildings,
structures.
on bad shape. Most of them. So we need to, you know, I just wanted to bring out, and we can.
And these are all county hospitals.
Yes.
At least, what is it, 2 or 3 something,
Yeah, there's only 2 current, well, there's 3, but one's fixing to come back to the county. That's the one down in the lower end, from what I'm hearing. But the only other ones that I'm aware of is Springtown and Lynchdale. Those are still community owned. And in the Lynchdale one, those of us that live over there, we all know that whenever Floyd set that aside, if something happens to it, it goes back to Patty Church of Christ. So it's vitally important that each and every one of these buildings, I mean, they're all of those buildings need something. And so I know that we set some money aside for capital improvements. These are our buildings. I would suggest that the Buildings and Grounds Committee and we all try to get together and go to each station. It'll take a little while.
Yeah.
But to be able to go around and look and kind of come up with a general dollar amount that we think would help. And that way it's not, this station got 20,000 and this one got 60,000. Well, if this station only needed 20,000, everybody could see that it was 20,000 that was needed. But if we've got more, that's like there's electrical here at this one, but just there's disarray in each and every one that all of them need something. Grassy Creek right now needs a door. It's in bad shape.
You're talking
So,
about needs
who's the
assessment.
chairman?
Correct.
You want the next
Assessment.
assessment.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask, as the chairman, can we have like a workshop and just kind of put all the needs out there, and then you guys kind of prioritize what needs to be done, get an amount, and then start working toward some sort of
Get like your
plan of
chiefs.
action?
Yeah, get the chiefs
Yeah.
of each station to say, hey, this is
Not
what
just
we need.
in general, all of the county needs, not just the fire, but it, because we got several things falling apart throughout the county. So let's just put it all and assess, just overall assessment of what we need to do.
Sounds good.
So can you set a meeting, Greg, and we just have like a workshop? So,
Well, the building committee meets, well, the whole commission probably needs to meet on that first time.
I say just to kind of put everything out there.
Anybody that sees anything, any need in the county, write it down, bring it to me.
Would you like to
Well-
do that at
well-
6 o'clock
Oh,
for
yeah,
our
looking at
meeting
it.
next month?
Well, as far as like Air County buildings that we need.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be a long list.
Yeah, it
I
will.
was just saying, I know there's lots of things at the courthouse, there's lots of things throughout
Alright.
with the fire
So
station.
the committee will meet, or the whole commission will meet
Probably the
on
whole
the
commission the
19th at
first
6 o'clock before our meeting in September. All right.
And since Mush brought this up, I understand what Kelly's saying, I know all of y'all do, but let's start with our fire department right
Yeah.
now. Let's see if we can't get to all those and then go
And go
out
from
from
there.
there in the
Yeah,
future.
I don't have a
All
problem
of
with
them.
any of that, I'm just saying address
Well, it's very
all the
important.
issues.
Very important. We may take it for granted, if we need it. You'll really appreciate it.
Well, I gotta ask Brooks, what about the Oak Court? I know you're
Uh,
still working on that. All
Old
of
boy got, electrical inspection price last week, we're waiting on VEC to come set the meter. And the guy's coming tomorrow, Saturday, to do the dirt work. It should be open for business one day next week.
Did you ever get anywhere on the Springtown one?
I didn't know nothing about it.
Isn't that the one that the couple asked about after the last meeting?
No,
For
they
the
asked about
electric-
Old Coy for some reason.
Oh, Ocoy?
Yeah.
They were from Springtown.
Yeah,
Correct,
they're
right
back.
now it's private.
Okay.
Matt, he's asked to give us a little update on the fire department.
Well, I'm Matt Trice from Old Ford. Some of that stuff that y'all were talking about there on the buildings, that the problems with the trucks, the problems with the buildings and everything that's going on. I can't speak for the east side, but I've got a pile of information for you on the west side that saves you a lot of work. You still need to go look at it, but it's a mess. So, I think all of you need to be at that meeting you just scheduled instead of just the building committee, because it's not like one, I mean, you just have to see it to understand. I've got quite a bit of information for all of you. And I'll have that, a packet for each one of you at that meeting, so.
Thank you.
Sounds good, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And if I may, on behalf of the Copper Basin side, I think when I counted, I've got 19 members here tonight. We just want to thank the commission for taking this up. Those stations are in really bad shape. One of them, we can't even get the door open right now, so the station's out of service. So just on behalf of the fire department here, we want to thank y'all for taking this issue up, and we look forward to meeting with y'all next month.
And while we're here right now, how many of the guys are here that took the EMR class?
Good number of them, probably. Raise your hands up.
Everybody raise your hand that took the class. We
Yeah.
got Scotty. These guys spent about, 15 weeks with me taking their EMR. We've had one pass, there's 9 more, so you will have 9 emergency medical responders to come to you if needed before the ambulance gets there. So, and they did it all on their own, they've not been paid for it, so let's give them a round of applause. And Scotty was the worst student. So, all right. I love him. Ducktown Courthouse, Mr. Barker.
Okay, a couple of different things on the Ducktown Courthouse. The survey is done for the locations for the new courthouse. And I don't see Patrice here, but I was going to ask if we needed to designate a fund to pay for that. We've got the bill on the survey and
Yes, it came in the other day, so it was, I can't remember exactly. It was
4,000.
4,000 some odd, and I apologize, I'm sure you all can tell, so today was my first half day back in the office. I'm not contagious, I promise, but I did run off and forget those surveys, but I will get them up so everybody can see how the survey does. But yes, if you, I know we've talked about putting some money aside, so and I know, like I said, Patrice's not here, but if you'll just find somewhere to put some money into, because we're also gonna have to pay the, architect for the, paperwork that he's gonna be doing. He's a local guy, so I know we all try to encourage you to spend local as much as we can. So if there's a sum of money that anybody wants to make a motion in a second on to put into that account, that way when these bills come in, we can go ahead and get those paid out.
Survey comes from legal, that's a general rule.
Are you, we're gonna use that money from the hospital, say?
The sale of the hospital?
Yes,
Okay.
so I mean, and that,
But we gotta put an expenditure on
I gotta have it somewhere, you know, where it's either that or,
Did it come, I mean, I guess if we get the check and stuff for all that, has it processed and all that good stuff?
And it went in the fund balance, right?
to my knowledge, yes.
Okay.
But it's earmarked, set aside
for
for
the courthouse.
Okay.
And like I said,
So how much do we need to put in there?
the legal line is usually what we use for surveys.
That'd cover
And
the
it should have
survey.
set in right now.
yeah.
But it's not.
10,000 will cover the survey.
Okay.
Yes, so, and so with what John Hoyt said, I know I see a lot of, so with the legal line, you know, that's what we set up, but with the survey, you're looking right at $5,000. So far with the engineering, I'm wanting to think that it's right at about 25 to 3, and I know that, but that, when things get changed, once we start to see it, things of that nature, so whatever you set aside, just give us an amount, and if we need some more next month, we'll come back and ask for some more and set it aside that way.
Well, we need to make sure it's enough. We don't need to.
So when we do
think real
15,
close. 15, I
So
would feel
if
better.
if you would put 5 into legal and then put 10 into another expenditure line so we can keep going.
Does engineering, will engineering come out of legal? Kelly probably knows on
I
that one. I don't
would
know
have
if
to
we
look
can.
at the thing. I think, I mean, you should be able to put it under the 51800 or 51900. Is there, I mean, for a time being, we could always put it under other, for the other expenses, and then we can always move it, the big amount when we get ready to do that or something else. If you're okay with that. You okay with that? Okay.
I wasn't sure which one it would go into.
I can't remember
I'm thinking
the
it's
account numbers
9.
off the top of my head right now.
I'm like you, I'm thinking 900.
51900 and do other like 599.
And if it's not at the special call meeting, we can just.
We can fix it then.
Yes.
Okay. So that, take that in motion, you got that? Need a motion? Second.
I think the second.
Need a
Wait
second?
a second. All right, do we have any more discussion on that one?
Revenue
call.
side's
Okay.
39,000,
Yes.
139,000, going into 51900, right? That's 599.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I said, you talked about 101,39,000 going into
I thought we said
51,900 to
15,000.
599.
Are we just designating it right now? We'll do a budget amendment next month, since we ain't got the budget amendment. Is that okay? Just approving
Approve our-
that we can do it that way? As long as it's in the minutes, it's okay.
So we are designating how much?
15,000. You're right.
That way they can get paid at the same time.
Keith Parker?
Yes.
Shane Bowman?
Yes.
Greg Brooks?
Yes.
Debbie Davis?
Yes.
Mush Davis?
Yes.
Christie Harden?
Yes.
Kelly Morgan?
Yes.
John Pippinger?
Yes.
Samantha Trent?
Yes. All right. Oh, he ain't done yet.
So, like I said, there's a couple things on the Duck County Courthouse. When the building committee met the other night, we also discussed the old Duck County Courthouse and what we're gonna do with it. And the committee seemed to be in agreement. So I wanna make a motion that we sell that and designate that money to help the construction on the new courthouse.
Want to run it through a realtor or have auction?
We have to
Sell
do
it
that.
the way
We
counties
have
are
to
allowed
do
to sell it.
Yes,
Yeah.
so you have, like Greg said, so you would have 2 ways. So as the commission, you could, if we do the sale as the county, we have to do an auction like the way we do. And everybody knows it does not bring as much because you can't solicit. You can let the IED board, if they would want to take that and to do that. I would suggest that if the IED board does that, and since they are going to do most of the legwork, that there would be a percentage that would be designated to go to them after the sale for them to be able to do that. They could do a private party transaction where you all as a county commission cannot. If you remember as well though, the commission still has final approval on any of the sales that goes through. So
What kind of percentage y'all recommend?
I would at least recommend a 10. I mean, that's near enough. You know, I'm sure they'd like to have 20. I see Ryan over there flashing 50. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, what you gotta look at is if you go out to a realtor, or if you go out and do, there's gonna be more money that comes in because it's gonna be advertised a whole lot more than just putting signs out. I've done these, I don't know how many times, put them in the paper, you have a handful of people who show up, high bid wins for that day. You may have somebody out there in the wild world of cyber and says, I really want to own the courthouse.
Well, I hadn't talked to Ryan, but some of the other members on the AD board have expressed interest in doing that.
Yes, sir.
Our next regular meeting will be the first Tuesday of October. Is this something that's a rush and we should need to
No,
call?
we're not rushed.
Why don't we talk between now and then maybe
Okay.
you can come to our next regular meeting and we'll set parameters of what everybody's comfortable with.
Sounds good to me.
I'll have to set that meeting. Are you finished?
Yeah, I guess I'll rescind that motion until we
Okay.
get that.
Hey, I got you. I'll just
Now,
mark
was
that
that
out.
two things or three
That
things?
was two.
You're done.
I'm done.
You're done. Okay, now, Mr. Hackett. It's the resignation.
So, a couple of weeks ago, I received the resignation of Mr. Lofty from the 911 board. Whenever Theta had brought this to me, she had said that she thought that there was another member that was up for reappointment. And whenever she contacted Mike Worley, Mike expressed a desire, and that resignation, I believe, is in your all's packet. So that's a total of 2 openings on the 911 board that those appointments will be coming from tonight. If you want to go ahead and get into the recommendations.
Yes, sir.
So my first recommendation is Mr. Del Ray from District 3.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Keith Parker.
Yes.
Shane Bowman.
Yes.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
mush Davis.
Yes.
Chrissy Harden.
Yes.
Kelly Morgan.
Yes.
Sean Pippinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trent.
Yes.
My second recommendation for the 911 board, and I'm sorry, I'd like to recommend that Dale would go into Mike Worley's. I think everybody understood that, but I just want to be sure that I had that there.
Great, I'm glad you put that out.
Okay.
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
too, because I was thinking about the same thing.
So my next recommendation for the 911 board is Ms. Hannah Ferris, and she will fall under the term that Mr. Lofty is coming from.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
We're gonna, is it Hannah Price?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Ferris.
It's okay.
Hannah Ferris. Ferris Price, I'm sorry. I stopped short, I remember it.
He's not getting one
Thank you,
off to do
thank you.
right
It's okay.
now. All right, no discussion? Roll call.
Keith Parker.
Yes.
Shane Bowman.
Yeah.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
mush Davis.
Yes.
Chrissy Harden.
Yes.
Kelly Morgan.
Yes.
Sean Pippinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trent.
Yes. Mr. Hackett, the work program.
Okay, so the work program is just a little update so everybody knows. If you start to see people walking around with fluorescent colored shirts, it says, I'm trying to think how it's Polk County Judicial, Polk County Courts. This is a program that we've worked on for the last couple of years. It's finally come to fruition. This is a program where people that are not able to pay off the restitution through their probation So now they're able to come and work through our litter grant program. And so we're getting free labor. And the way that that works is these men and women that sign up for this, they actually meet with the judge, they meet with their probation officer, then they meet with our litter grant coordinator, and they understand all the steps that they have to follow. It's one of those, you break one and you're gone, because they're doing this to make the restitution. So whenever that's done, and once they complete the number of hours that's set aside by the court to make it, let's say a few hours ago, you seen these people picking up, the litter grant man will come back through and pick them up. Now, if you want to stop and pick them up, that's fine. I'm not saying that, but there's no need to, be alarmed. County is a big county. Polk County is a very large county, and what Will tries to do, he tries to get his best fuel mileage, so if he can make a loop and make it around, so if he's got one area where he's got 40 bags, and he's got one area where he's got 5 and 5 and 7, he tries to make that loop to get back around. And we always try to get them picked up within a 24-hour time period. Most of the time it is the same day, but every now and then, if you've lived in this world for a little while, things happen and it don't work the same day. But that's just an update on that program.
One question, are they supervised at the time they're doing the work?
Not all, no. So that's part of that program and what they fill out for, because these are not hardcore.
They're not in jail to start with.
Correct, and there's some county employees that are here. We had one in the courthouse.
They are right.
That came through. He was an older man, had some respiratory issues, so he wasn't able to get out and do a whole lot. We were able to work with him, and it helped Jake out because Jake's going through his treatments, and so Jake was able to still be able to come to work, but not have to get outside and work in the heat as much because we were able to use him. So we look at that and we try to help because ultimately these people, they want to get this monkey off of their back, and that's what we're trying to help them do. And so it works out good for all parties involved.
Yeah, I think it's a very good program. It keeps a lot of people out of that revolving door that can't afford to pay the crazy probation fees, and it's just another help in life. So I'm proud to hear it.
And so if you feel led to, I know I'll speak for myself and Jackie because we are 2 office holders here. If you feel led and you say, hey, I'd like to, bottles of water, cups of coffee, bowls here too. I'm sorry, Bo, I forgot about you. We've got single serve. I'm sure you'd like a cup of coffee too. We give them water, we give them coffee, but if you would want to, feel free to let us know and reach out to us. And this is on both sides of the county. Sometimes I understand with travel and distance, so it's part of that program. If they can't travel or they can't do, you may see them picking up the streets on the roads on the area they live on, because that's feasible for them to be able to do. But they have to log that time in, and they have to log it in through litter grant coordinator and through their probation officer. So if they miss any step, they don't get credit. But that's it.
All right. Mr. Hatcher, false accusations.
Boy, this is a big one.
Amen.
So, I want to first of all offer my apology to any and everybody that's heard, read, or seen anything that is not true. Now, I apologize. I know whenever this first started, those of you all that were here in the April meeting, I had asked, as well as Jackie asked, to not be in the middle. And there were some of the seniors earlier, I told you that same thing. I didn't want to be in the middle, and you all agreed that none of us needed to be in the middle. And I apologize. I apologize for not getting on out and getting ahead. With having older parents, my mom and dad are both still alive and they're 81. Keith called me the other day and I told him, I said, I'm sorry about that, it took me a minute. My daddy likes to rabbit hunt, but I love nothing more than to listen to him rabbit hunt. So I do apologize if anything that's happened has caused anybody any harm, any stress. But I also want to do a hard reset going forward. Now, in computer class, a hard reset was the control alt delete, and when you hit it, the screen went blank, and then we start over. So there's been a whole lot of things. I have the minutes pulled as far as who and how has voted. There has never been a vote to take anything away. There has been a vote that, to designate offices, but also in that designation for there to be other offices that was designated to the seniors. I know in some of the questions that I had out front, it was asked, what about this and what about that? Here in just a moment, I'm going to ask this body of commissioners to go into and suspend the rules. And if one of the commissioners will make that motion whenever I get done, I want to give up my office. I'm not leaving, I'm going to be here. Most of the times whenever you come, we'll sit out front or we'll sit in here. But it's to give a little more room so this curtain stays open. So the seniors have this room to be in. For you all to be able to enjoy what you rightfully deserve to be able to enjoy. And my apology goes back to that. I'm sorry that I did not kind of jump on out and that I did kind of stay back. So if you heard Robbie done anything before 7:53 on August the 15th, I didn't. But after 8 o'clock on August the 15th, I'm going to be a little more ahead and we're going to get this worked out. This is only temporary.
Hello, can you also add that we never voted to close this?
No, there was never a, I have the minutes. If you want me to read them aloud, I don't care one bit. It'll take just a moment.
We didn't want this closed. We didn't want y'all to be in one space. We didn't vote on that.
We never voted to close that curtain.
I thought it was open.
Robin, we thank you.
Yes, ma'am?
We appreciate you. Yes. Very much.
And Robin,
You've opened this up and you're gonna get rid of the rest of the junk in here for us.
Yes, ma'am?
And it's gonna be back senior,
Yes, ma'am. And
senior center.
And one other thing, so when you all leave, I've asked these commissioners to stay and help me. They voted to designate a bunch of this junk, I'm sorry, it's what it is, when it's wore out, it's junk, it needs to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is I sent 2 men up, and there's some stuff in this room that's too heavy. Danny Carver, if Danny was here, Danny would tell you, he and I come up and try to move it. Me and him couldn't move it. But I have brought my truck, my trailer, and I'm gonna also ask them when they suspend the rules. I've got some more stuff. We don't want y'all to help us. It's not that we don't, we want y'all to enjoy this place. But after everybody leaves, there's some of these commissioners and myself, I'm gonna load that 14-foot trailer, and I'm taking it down the mountain, and it's gonna go to the dump. We're gonna work to get it out of here. Ms. Coffins?
2 months ago, maybe a little longer than that, you told me that you would gladly give up your office.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are here one day, and I think I'll appreciate that. And people that don't live here don't understand what the community center, the senior center, means to people. And it was late 1978 or early 80s, Pat Collins did the groundwork, and he was the building foreman for this. And I have been bringing my children to the health department when they were small. And then as they got older, we found out that the senior citizens needed people to deliver meals on wheels. I wanted my kids to learn that they served the community then, and we did 2 days a month, because that was how many days they gave everyone. And now it's come full circle. Because of this senior center right now, my mother-in-law and father-in-law that both have dementia, I pick up meals here for them every Friday. They're always out front. There's always someone out there to load them into my car, because I have had a major surgery and getting ready to have another one. My husband works 12 hours a day. I do too, but I turn the answering machines on to come pick up their meals. We can't lose this.
Correct.
This was too hard for our community to get, and our seniors can't lose it. And you can't just tell us anything and think that we're gonna believe it. I am 66 years old. I am a senior too. We're gonna do our research, we're gonna find out what's going on. And we appreciate the fact very much, Robbie, and you told me that if it came down to it, you would. And I understand we need to be able to get a driver's license here, we need a kiosk. The kiosks, and I've done a little research, and just looked at pictures of them again here in the last few minutes. A driver's license kiosk, and we're excited about having one up here and one below the mountains. They are approximately 5 to 7 foot tall, not hardly 3 foot wide, and not hardly 2 foot deep. So your office, though it's small down there, it is gonna suffice for that one kiosk. And
I
we
don't need
appreciate
that
you
for
giving me that.
the driver's license. It will go in that main office. I will not have to have that.
Yeah, mine's gonna be set up for the computers.
Very good.
And so
Very
that way, so that way as well, if you come and wanna go sit and talk to me, and I look across this crowd, I'm not gonna ask you to raise your hand or shake your head, because I know a lot of you have canes to me, and just wanted to talk to me. Well, guess what, if ain't nobody back there at that computer, we can go back there and talk. We can go outside and talk.
And I sat right there in the lobby last week.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know how many different ones,
But
but
we appreciate the fact, and it's like right now, at my age, I would be coming over here 5 days a week if it wasn't for the fact that someone has to be at home at all times because of my in-laws. I would be coming over here because I can always forward my calls, my office calls, whatever. And there's too many people that depend on this. Come and spend the day with them, come on a Tuesday and Thursday. Some of y'all come over and dance with the old people when the music's going. See how much fun we are.
Well, I'd like to respond back to that, since you mentioned it, something about losing this. There has never been any mention in any committee meeting or any commission meeting about you losing anything.
And furthermore, we
Who told
tried,
you that? That's what I'd like.
we tried to
Can we
meet
get a name?
hold
Go
on.
ahead.
We tried to meet multiple times before any of this ever happened, and none of it, we couldn't meet. Every time we met, it would be canceled. We never wanted to take anything. That was never our goal.
We didn't think that it was your goal.
There was supposed to be a meeting with the director over one of the grants on Sunday.
And furthermore, with your Meals on Wheels, you didn't have anybody to deliver it tomorrow, so I'm taking off work to go get it for you
Thank
guys.
you.
So
appreciate
we
it.
don't want
But
to
we were
lose it.
not told we were losing the center. We were told we would not be able to use all of it.
Why
And
was
we
it on?
also know that the maintenance man was the one that put the lock on the doors, and that was because Robbie told him, I think Robbie told him to go ahead and do that, but Robbie was also the one that cut it tonight. And no, I have no name to give you to tell you that anyone told us that we were losing the center. I walked in the door and half of it was closed off.
We never voted to close it.
Yeah, we
Never
did.
been.
And we
never-
know that, and we understand
Yeah.
that.
I guess
We
so.
understand that. We're just thankful to have it back,
Yeah.
what we could not use.
You could have had it the whole time.
So are we.
I couldn't
We're thankful
unlock
to
the
have
door.
room for our
So,
meeting.
I mean, just, if we didn't
I'm
vote
just a
to
citizen.
close it,
I could
why
not
don't we
unlock the door
vote
tonight.
to do anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I come over here today, my name's Charles Burnett, and that room is so full, I couldn't even get in to sit down and everything. And of course, I was raised up in Copper Hill, been here all my life and everything. But I was told that we was gonna lose this part of it, the senior citizen thing. And so,
Who told you that?
well,
That's what we want to know.
Everybody
is
tells us
who
what
told
they was
y'all.
told.
We got the
Okay.
We got the line, I'd like to know who said it.
If
Well-
somebody give us a name, they will be dealt with.
Okay.
Never who started all this mess, but it's all say so-and-so said, but
We've
nobody
got
wants to tell who
Facebook
told
posts
it.
from Tampa, Florida. I mean, come on.
yeah,
but,
I wanna know
but
who
I
started.
recommend, I appreciate every one of you and what you're doing and everything. I'm glad it's all come out tonight and everything, and everything's gonna be all right. We use this part of it and everything, but, I got one more question. Is for this center over here. A lot of seniors, comes over here. bushes need to be cut, the grass needs to be cut, and stuff like that. I don't know nothing about it or anything else. But, you know, when they walk by up the sidewalk, they get swiped by the bushes and stuff. And some of them, you know, it's got the walkers and stuff like that, and they can't get off in the grass to do it. But just little things like that, and the trash needs to be, I don't know, does Ducktown pick up the trash?
Well, that was another thing that was brought to my attention, and so I asked my litter grant man when he came up with that Wednesday. I was here that Tuesday, and whenever he came up, there's a lock, and he don't have the key to it. So that's how come that's not been emptied. He don't.
Outside?
Yes, sir.
There's a lock on it?
Yes, sir, he's got a lock inside.
Oh, I didn't know it.
Yes, sir. I didn't know either.
I didn't
And with the grass, that, the trustees are who mow, and right now with all the rain and the sheriff made posts about that, about how far behind that they are. So they're just a little bit behind, and I know it's the same way, like the ball field, somebody talked about how bad that those were. I just have just a little bit more, because myself, and I reckon all of y'all received this letter.
Yes.
I want to read you this letter. And as I've said before, I've been here the first Tuesday of every month. If I didn't make it that first Tuesday, I'd ask somebody to put a note on the door, and I'd come second Tuesday. So that means if there's 12 months, or if there's 12 months in a year, that's 12 different times. So we all received a letter from Senate Chamber, the Honorable, it says, R. Swan. And it says, Dear County Executive Hatcher, as a state senator for Polk County, I'm writing to express my support for the Copper Basin Senior Center to have a meeting room and a secure lock room. Since many activities, resources, and social connections of the Senior Center are funded by grants, it's my understanding that the equipment and materials used for their daily programming have to be stored in a secure locked room, along with having daily access to the room personally by the seniors, Monday through Friday. The Senior Center is providing essential service for the elderly in the community. Further, we have, I emphasize that, we have the opportunity to make their life better and enjoyable for all of our seniors in the program. I believe this Senior Center will be an asset to the constituents of my district. Thank you for your time and consideration. To my knowledge, Art Swan has been in Polk County 2 times.
Yeah. What I told you.
2 times.
What's he come the second time?
He came the second time, that was at the Boys and Girls Club, whenever we announced that there was going to be a T-Cat. The T-Cat's going to have a groundbreaking on Wednesday, by the way. 2 times. Mr. Swan is retired. So there's a term, and I've heard it used by people to this commission on committees. I've heard this commission referred to some. It's called a lame duck. That's the final period of office after the election of a successor. So he's done. I know I didn't appreciate it. I wished he'd call. I asked him the first time I ever met him to spend 6-8 hours of his time, and I drive him to the 4 corners of this county. I don't have his phone number like I do Dan House. I don't have his number like I do Chuck Flashman's. I don't know his voice like I know Bill Haggerty, Marshall Blackman's.
Well, what was he told though? I'm not taking up for him because he is a lame duck and he's probably treated Polk County worse than any senator's ever treated Polk County.
I agree.
But what was he told and by who to inspire him to write that letter? He didn't just wake up one morning and say, I'm gonna write this letter. He was lied to by somebody.
Correct.
Got some information somewhere.
Because my letter said about keeping it open.
But before I would have sent something like that to a body of elected officials, I think I would have reached out
We
to
all
somebody.
got one in the mail from him, but
And so to you all as commissioners, I apologize. But I don't have a contact number.
we need to get to the bottom of, when this all started, I'm the chairman of the Building and Grounds Committee. I'm gonna take up for Jackie and Robbie. They knew that we were gonna look at rearranging up here to make it work for everybody. That was our goal, to work for the seniors, to provide driver's license service and tag service to everybody on the East End. And both of them said, whatever y'all do, make it where the seniors do not lose their service, and we can make our office functional. They both said, make sure the seniors are took care of.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. Since then, it's been nothing but rumors and lies, and I don't hold y'all responsible, because obviously y'all were told this stuff. We
It's
just
all
want to
over
know who
social
told
media,
you.
everywhere.
No, but somebody had to be.
Somebody had to put it
has-
there.
Somebody had to tell y'all this stuff, and it's absolutely not true. We spent several hours up here meeting and looked at rooms, trying to make it work for everybody, but we just want to know, will somebody please tell us who told y'all this stuff?
If I can find out, I'll tell you.
Just send a mass email to us.
Do
Who's
what?
your leader?
Well, what we thought when they started moving all the southern stuff in here, they were trying to move the seniors out.
No, see, that was our first priority, was not to inconvenience y'all at all, and that's why I'm so, I don't hold y'all responsible, because y'all were told that, and I'd be mad too if I were y'all and I believed that.
I'm talking with all the stuff being moved in, and somebody told us yes, they're moving stuff in to move us out.
Well, they
Our
didn't know
issue was, we
all
didn't
the-
understand why we couldn't do what we're doing right here
Yeah.
every time we come have our
Oh,
commission meeting.
okay, and I wanted to ask something else. Are we gonna get the food coming back, like the dinners, during the week?
You should have never made it.
What?
Should have never left. We don't have any control of that. I mean, that's something.
I mean, well, we would.
That would be your leader to talk to. Yeah.
So who?
And we would sit here and eat.
He just said it was easy, yes. Yeah. He said it had Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a question? It seems like there's so much confusion on what is going on with this actual building. Is there a county website? Is there a calendar? Is there anything anywhere that we can get information so that we're not sitting over here, having no clue what y'all are talking about?
Well, y'all, our name is in the Polk County News and Project
Okay,
News,
on the
and phone numbers and on the website. I give anything if one of y'all picked up the phone and called me before this started, anytime. I'll
You
answer
got
the
your
phone anytime.
two right here and your other commissioners that you could call.
We're only here every other month.
Yep.
Right, but I'm just saying, you're saying all the commissioners are here, all that. If we don't know, if we're new to the community, what is the website that I go to?
We do have,
PolkCounty.gov.
and we do have a new
And it's gonna have all the information so that we're not, just coming to these meetings in the dark, not knowing what's going on.
I've just contacted the officers inside the courthouse, Robbie's office and Jackie's office to confirm this. We are revamping the website now. We've kind of lost control of some of the upload capabilities. We've got that fixed. We are redoing the website and republishing it here in the next 6 weeks.
Okay.
So
That'll be under
it will be polkgovernment.com, which is what it is now. We currently have a website, but it's not being kept up yet. That is changing. We have a new person doing our website.
Who do we have doing that, John?
Wes Davis just volunteered here 3 weeks ago.
So can we have,
Just a second.
so we can put some information,
My name is
updated
Frank
information?
Fisher, and I'm a member of the senior center here. Probably the oldest member here, but that's regardless of that. I just want to tell you a little bit about the senior center. It's a close-knit family. If someone is sick, they either get a card. If they pass away, they get an acknowledgement of that. Also, if someone is not able to take care of themselves, going to the restroom, someone will help them to the restroom and back. I just can't express to you the benefit that these have one for another. So many times, someone has come to one of us and said, I would like to pray for us. so-and-so sick, so-and-so has passed away. It is a prayer vigil also. It's not just a time to gather together and have fellowship, but it's a prayer group. We have two good bands. A lot of those are here tonight that plays in the band, either picks or sings. You will not know the joy that the senior center has out of this band. Some of them will clap hands, some of them will clap, some of them will even get up and move around at it's so much a family-orientated thing. And I don't know what's been said, I can't hear, but I understand that they're cars, which is wonderful. But let me tell you, this is just when we gather here. That is not the end of the senior center. That is a little bit about the beginning of it. We go from here, used to before COVID took over, go from here to the nursing home. We would have bingo. You will never know the joy that these elderly people have. A little stuffed toy that might not mean nothing to you, but give it to one of those senior people, or call them whatever you want to, that's in the nursing home. Give them a toy. You'll never see the brightness in their face when they get just that little toy. Also, the senior center has bingo over there at the nursing home. And the same thing about talking about a toy. We would have to help most of them to place it on. But when they got to say bingo, brother, it was bingo. They didn't care what the gift was. Bingo! They were part of it. That's what our senior center here is. It's a togetherness. It's where we go to see things. Look at the pictures on the wall. All of those are deceased people that are members or have been members here. And they're gone on. When a family dies, it just hurts the whole family. So I just want to say that little bit, that the senior center is not just a time to come over here and eat a meal or whatever you want to call it, or a time for the band to play a little bit and go back home. That's just a part of the whole thing. The whole thing is what the senior center does besides music and dancing and all that. We're a family. So I just wanted to mention that when, I don't know where the news might come from or where it might go. But one thing I can say is that the senior center is alive and well. I love to hear Brother Ben there. Sometimes they'll ask him to, at the end of the service, you close out the service with prayer. God bless Brother Ben. He'll bring your heart just to hear the word of God spoken in a prayer request. So we're a family. I want to keep repeating that. We're a family. We're not just a place to come and sing and have a good time and go back home. If someone is sick at home, that takes from us. Edie there has been sick, and people have called her, visited her, been with her, and she just back with us. Our heart heavy when one of our members is sick. I just want to say these few words. We're a family. God bless all of you, and we love you. And if something happens that we don't have this place anymore, we'll find a place. We're family. We'll find a place. Even if we have to go out behind here, we'll find a place. We're gonna be a senior center, we're gonna be a family. Thank you all for your time.
You wanna speak?
Yes, I'm Billy Acton, I'm probably the senior member here. I'm 90 years old, and I've been an active member and volunteer since 2007. And while we have your ear, I wish you'd consider giving us a little money every year. I don't think we get a penny from the county. We have to make fundraising and yard sales and that to buy our freezer, all that sound equipment up there had come out of our pocket. We had fundraising going on for 2 or 3 years to get all that equipment up there. So just remember us in that respect, if you will. If you look at a way to raise a little money for something like that in the fire department, have you ever considered wheel tax on Georgia tag? It's $300, $29 in Polk County. North Carolina's $300, $29 in Polk County. I believe if you just put $25 a wheel, you'd be surprised how much money that'd bring and what you could do with that little bit of money. But such as this, all we need is about $200 a month, and we can do fine. Thank you for your time.
I got a question for you if you got time.
Yes.
We're still all scrambling to figure out the source of the rumors, because we're upset that y'all even had to go through all these rumors and stuff. Do you know anybody that would have told, that started any of the lies?
I don't know for sure, but I know Vicki has been really pushing that, and I sort of agreed with her because I thought that you were actually had a tendency to be pushing us, moving us out slowly.
But see, somebody had to say that for the first time.
I don't know for sure that she wrote any of the letters, but I suspect that she did contact some people like that.
Well, that's.
And Vicki's not here tonight, and bless her heart, she's got COVID, so we don't want to criticize her, and we hope that she gets better.
Well, what's been done's been done, we just hope that we've cleared it all up.
We absolutely
want
do
nothing
all
but the best. We just want to do we can have our business, and we want y'all to have the whole caboodle.
Since all of this has happened, and we understand that you're not responsible for this, so I was talking with Bonnie earlier, there are things that we as this senior center need to understand. We've been told, and I understand COVID, that it stopped lots of stuff. So before COVID, we as the family here, we would have dinner, cook, bring dinner in, homecoming. So we don't do that anymore. We would do yard sales to raise money for things that we wanted to do, like we used to take trips. We don't do that anymore. So would Robbie be the one that could find this out and then call a meeting with us so that we can get this settled?
You should still be
You
doing
should
it.
still be able to do that. We don't have anything.
We don't control it.
And now we understand that.
Yeah, you should be doing it. If you wanna cook for all you guys, go.
Bring your food and.
Yeah.
I think all the
Do
COVID
whatever.
restrictions of Joe Biden's world has pretty much been lifted anyway. So,
I mean, there's no reason.
I mean, I'm not
to
saying
we're not
that you
doing it.
believe me.
This is your
but
space.
most of everything that I've understood as pretty much the
Everything's back to normal.
restrictions have been lifted. So,
But I mean,
I wouldn't worry about it. I would
Have
do
my meal.
exactly
you
as
do what
I
you wanna
planned.
do.
Yeah.
You just have to find us to eat with you.
Yeah,
About 2 years.
Sorry.
But you can only do what the director says.
yeah.
All right,
That's
Robbie.
I overheard someone a while ago talk about
And the director is.
They're having a big.
Make sure that.
No, you're fine. No, go ahead, go ahead.
Wait,
overheard someone talk about, said something about the seniors a while ago, which was right. You know, we must all remember, without the seniors, there would be none of us.
Right.
And we must remember to always keep them in front and always see that they're protected, because the children today, when we have them, they will be our seniors tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we must, as a group, take care of our seniors and see that they have the proper care, the proper place, if it's possible, to enjoy life. And that's what living's all about, being one to the other a helper. And we can do that to our seniors. I want to thank y'all, and we appreciate this right here. I've been here for a little over 18 years. I've seen a lot of things come and go, but this closing of the curtain, it wasn't very few days after that when I walked out here. I said, when they give us back our room, we'll start making music again. Because no one likes to be pushed up in the corner. Nobody likes to be crowded with all the stuff, as this gentleman referred to it as junk. I don't know. But anyway, we don't like to be pushed and crowded and that stacked around us. It's like that they're trying to get rid of us. When I say they, I don't mean you, because I don't know who it was until tonight. But then, anyway, I appreciate what I have heard tonight, and I want to thank all of you for being in the position you're in to where you can benefit all people. You've got my vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
One other thing, as far as the dinners and all goes, I know that this is basically a grant-funded program, the senior center is, and Chattanooga mandates what is allowed to go on here, and they had the mask things in for so long and all that, and I don't know if they have lifted the mandates on the dinners and all. That will have to be checked out through them.
Yeah, I just remember hearing, and that's why I said what I
and
did, that all the
Yeah. And I hope and
yeah.
pray that's true for
has,
this
yeah,
year.
and that y'all check in.
That definitely needs to be checked into.
That it said that they have lifted all bans that was established
Well,
during
they only
COVID.
make you wear masks,
And
so.
That's all I know.
I know with some of the hospitals, some of the places where different things, you still have to follow some of those mandates, and they may have it on the seniors for
Well, I know
health reasons.
my friend's mother was in the hospital just here the other day with COVID, and they had no restrictions. They didn't even restrict the people going into her hospital. There wasn't none. Now, that I know for a fact.
We do a lot at the Fannin County through my work,
Yeah.
and they eat all the time at theirs, so I don't see why it's not the same. I mean, we have pizza parties and stuff through my job, because I work with a lot of seniors, with the Fannin County Senior, and they eat all the time, they eat every day, they actually provide them meals every day there.
And that's
so.
correct. We need to find out what Tennessee's mandates are on that.
Yeah, so I don't know why it would be different, yeah, yeah.
I know where I go to the doctor, they still have masks out front and ask you to put them
A
on.
lot of them will have them, but you know, they don't force you to put it on.
So your director should be able to find those mandates out.
Exactly.
I've got, yeah.
Will you get that?
Yeah. So, right quick, so, one other quick thing, just to make sure everybody understands, because there's nothing that restricts the county from having 10 community centers. I've heard that. I want to be sure everybody understands that. If we can afford a community center on every corner of the county, we can have that. And it doesn't matter if it's in a county building or if it's in a church. I had a 33-minute phone conversation, and I've got it recorded. I don't care to let this body of commissioners listen to it. If that's the case, and I say that because this has really opened up my eyes, because as Mr. Swan's letter said, constituents, well, we're a whole county. And the west side, they don't have. I have been approached and asked, said, hey, I'll check in that seat. Well, McMinn County, Etowah has one, and then they have one over in Athens. So McMinn County has two. And Glenn, if you remember when you and Monica was there the other day, I can't remember the little guy's name, but I asked him, I said, where's your next stop? He said, I go to Etowah, then I'll go to Athens. So there's counties right around the grant, but it's also funded through the county. So if there was two, the state side of that would stay the same. They're not gonna give us more money. It means that the county would have to come up with more. So I'm gonna ask for a motion, if somebody will make a motion to suspend the rules, to move me from my office designation, let my office be designated to the senior center, and also for a list of items, I have the resolution for some of the chairs, miscellaneous stuff that's outside to be deemed surplus. Those two things to suspend rules.
I make a motion to suspend the rules to remove Robert's office designated to community center, senior center, and to do resolution 8124, which is surplus property.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Keith Parker.
Yes.
Shane Bowman.
Yes.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
mush Davis.
Yes.
Christie Harden.
Yes.
Kelly Morgan.
Yes.
John Kipinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trent. Yes.
Resolution 8-1-24, a resolution to discharge surplus property. Whereas the following list of properties has fulfilled its intended usage and longevity and service to the county of Polk, and its continued usage has become suspect to the expected outcome, with such properties now being included as followed on page 1. Now therefore be it resolved by the Polk County Commission meeting in regular session on this the 15th day of August, 2024, pursuant to TCA code 5-14-108, 1 and 2, and any other law of the state of Tennessee, that the county executive is hereby authorized to sell or disperse of, in part, in whole, the following properties which are hereby deemed to be unusable and/or surplus by the Polk County Commission, with such being made at any legal sale, discharge qualified under Chapter 5 of Tennessee Code, annotate that any other applicable law, allowance in the state of Tennessee for the disbursement of damaged or unusable property. This resolution shall take effect on its passage and the public welfare requiring it. There are 2 metal filing cabinets in my office that's never been used. There are approximately 18 stationary chairs throughout the community center. There are 2 swivel chairs, approximately 2 wooden desks, and 1 broken hall tree.
Yes.
Is that right? That's not on there. I will pencil that in, but I will get one back.
I think that was actually
Doing all that on the part of the resolution.
Pardon?
that
All
first
that
surplus
added
list that
is
you did.
Okay.
I think that was on there.
It was on that up.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, John Boyd, yes.
I make a motion to include everything the county executive just read off on 8-1-24.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call.
Keith Parker.
Yes.
Shane Bowman.
Yes.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
mush Davis.
Yes.
Christie Harden.
Yes.
Kelly Morgan.
Yes.
John Kipinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trent.
Yes.
Make a motion for the county executive to allow to vacate his office and give it to the seniors of the community centers, use of the senior center activities.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Keith Parker.
Yes.
Shane Bowman.
Yes.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
mush Davis.
Yes.
Christie Harden.
Yes.
Kelly Morgan.
Yes.
John Kipinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trent.
Yes.
That's all I have. Go back to the regular meeting.
Going back in regular order. Yes, ma'am.
I understand, that recently, some months this year that this senior center received a grant. Would you tell us what that was for?
There's still some more expenditures in that grant. A lot of the things that you see, like the computers, those were purchased through the grant. I think the bigger TV monitor. Another item in the grant was to upgrade the Wi-Fi. So because that benefits everybody here. So it helps to increase the speeds because they're also going to be starting back their computer classes. And that's where seniors can come. And I don't want to say his name, but there was a resident from our side of the county that I know extremely well, lives just right down the road from me. He actually came up here, and it shocked me because he's, you know, he's not a computer type guy. But this was a benefit for him. So it's part of those services as well. I was trying to think of some of the other things specific. There's still about $2,000 or $3,000 that has to be spent out. But whenever it comes to that, they have to meet the criteria within the grant. So you can't just take that money and buy Coca-Cola. We can't take that money and, you know, it has to be, but it has to stay within the community center. And that was one of the things whenever I had my 33-minute conversation with Chris Grant at AAAD. If I do what I'm going to do, does that meet the grant requirements? Yes, Robbie, as long as the equipment is behind a locked door, just so it can't be sold.
Okay. I also, do I understand that August 30th, this grant is, now this is something I heard today, so I'm just asking that this grant is up on August 30th this month.
I believe that is correct, and all that has to be done is that money has to be allocated. So it don't have to be spent, but it has to have allocations to show what it's going to be purchased for. So if there's an item or anything that falls underneath that, and if it's a special item, like it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks to get here, just because it's not here does not mean the grant that we don't get it. We just have to have it allocated by the end of this month.
And the Wi-Fi that day, it benefited the whole building, didn't it?
Correct, it'll benefit everybody, not just, but it was part of it within that grant that it met the perimeters that we'll be able to. It's like what we were talking about earlier with the show bar, you know, getting it up to ADA compliant. We can do a whole lot more because there's so many things to stay within ADA compliance, and there's so many of our buildings that don't.
My name is Julie Nixon, and I was in the committees that met here for several years. And I think that a lot of things that were taken away were simply taken away because they were given to somebody else, some other group. And I think a lot of things that have happened is sad, but I don't think an apology can quite take care of that until we figure out what to do about it. And one of those things is like when you had your meetings in here, you went to the refrigerator, you drank all the Cokes, we were buying them, you gave coffee to everybody that came down the way, we were doing all that without any way to pay for them other than out of our pocket.
You're saying that people on this commission?
Are you saying we did that?
We've never done that.
We never did that.
Somebody's like,
We bring our other people though that have met here.
No,
I don't know
okay.
about that, this commission.
You know, that,
It's not.
We never took a drink of water.
I don't even have a key to that.
I was surprised to see you here, to be honest with you, because it was supposed to be a meeting between us and him and get some things straightened out.
This is the county commission board.
Yeah, this is
This is our regular session.
I'm doing the talking.
But you're,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
But.
Around us, but it's because they have money to fund